I've been here for 15 minutes. Let me explain why sauna is good for you. So firstly, I need to explain what the studies show. There's a very good study conducted in Finland which shows that regular sauna use could reduce all-cause mortality by 40%, which in science terms is absolutely wild. So to put that into perspective, exercise versus no exercise reduces all-cause mortality by 23%. So the numbers are astonishing and effectively unheard of in medicine. Now, there are various mechanisms behind why they think it's good for you. So firstly, it activates something called heat shock proteins. Now, these are ingenious mechanism of protection that evolution has somehow figured out. And the way I like to imagine them is like cellular scaffolding. They hold your cells and proteins together and prevent them from denaturing or unraveling in high temperature. Now, it's not just sauna that activates them. It could be fever, it could be high intensity exercise, anything that raises your core body temperature above optimal. So these heat shock proteins essentially hold your cellular proteins together and prevent them from unraveling when temperatures rise. And that's really important for survival. The heat shock proteins not only prevent proteins from degrading, they also help with repairing any damaged kind of proteins or organelles that are there. And this plays into the mechanism behind the theory called hormesis. And hormesis is essentially where small controlled stresses on the body, whether that's high temperature, high intensity exercise, fasting, has beneficial effects on the body and activates various different longevity and reparative processes. All stress on the body is bad for you. Small controlled stress seems to have a big positive impact on health, and it's the same mechanism by way ice baths, fasting, high intensity exercise, and dry sauna like we're in today has an impact. And the way to think about hormesis is the saying that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
So that basically underpins the theory behind hormesis, which has been proven in many different studies. The second reason why scientists think that sauna is good for you is because it almost acts like a form of exercise. Although you're not jumping around or moving around, your heart rate is increasing, and normally when I check mine, it's around 150 to 160 by the time it reaches 13, 14 minutes. And the third reason why scientists think that sauna is good for you is because of something called reactive vasodilation. So when the body temperature goes up, our heart rate pumps faster to get blood to our skin to try and cool us down, essentially. And dilation of blood vessels also has a secondary effect by transporting more nutrients, more oxygen to our muscles, which is the reason why it's said to be good for recovery after exercise or sport. And the researchers found that there's a dose-dependent response. So that means that people who saunaed 4 to 7 times a week had a dose-dependent response, so a double an increase in benefit compared to less than 3 times a week. Okay, so let's talk about sauna. What type of sauna, what temperature, how long for, and any other precautions you need to consider. Let's get into it. So all the benefits have been shown with dry sauna, so what we're in today, not a steam sauna. And the reason for that is because steam saunas can only get up to about 65 to 67 degrees centigrade. However, dry sauna can get up to 90, 95 degrees centigrade, which is about 200 Fahrenheit. So that's why if you're going to do anything, it has to be dry sauna. So what temperature and how long do you need to be in the sauna for? And there's no exact science to this, but it's got to be hot, so around 200 Fahrenheit, which is 90 degrees centigrade. And how long? Around 13 minutes, but you also don't want to do too long. So anything more than 20 minutes has the inverse impact. So going back to what we were saying regarding hormesis, where small amounts of stress are beneficial, too much stress has the opposite impact and is bad for you. And finally, the other considerations are that you need to make sure you're well hydrated, so make sure you bring some water in with you. This is one of the few reasons I think that electrolyte powders might be useful. Well, make sure it contains sugar, because otherwise it doesn't work as a rehydration solution. Covering your head with a cap or a towel can be beneficial to protect your hair from burning. Not burning in the sense that it's going to catch on fire, but there's a theoretical risk that it can damage the hair follicles. And finally, if you're just getting started, I wouldn't start off with going in more than a few minutes at a time. So you have to acclimatize. I wouldn't do more than 3-4 minutes at first. See how you get on with it, because you can get side effects, and those are headaches. You can start feeling nauseous, drowsy, and I certainly experienced those when I first started doing sauna.